Remember, please hit like and subscribe for me. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go. Hi everyone. Today is Friday, October the 17th. My name is Anne-Marie Band and this is the Moneyball Morning Report. Let's have a look at the E-mini S&P 500. We're taking a look at 4-hour charts for now, since we are in the middle of a larger rotation. As I mentioned, I do expect momentum to drag us down into these lower edges. And we did get that, not without a big fight, at this 6,740 level. That was a key zone yesterday. And you can see the traders tried to get up and over it. And they did not, right? So we have ourselves our first lower high off of this flag pattern, and then a break of the flag because we broke the trend of higher lows, right? So we've got these two events where we broke the line that held this one, and if we look at something a little bit tighter, you guys know I hate trend lines, but some of us really love them. You can see that breakdown really occurs early in the day yesterday. So what am I looking for today? It's the same thing. I think we're in a wide range. We lost value area low. We are currently trying to recover it. That number is 66.56. We spent a lot of time at 66.50. The put wall for 0 DTEs was sitting at that zone. Today, it has moved lower at 6,600, and you can see those sneaky traders. They're trying to lift it off of that level, but not without a loss below the zone before it rotates. So remember, the way we use these put walls and call walls are to say, hey, here comes a rock fight. Let's step back, see if they make higher lows, and when they breach the zone and recover it, then you can position where your risk is. That risk then gives you a fairly solid look at a support ledge, and you can write it right back up. This would be a zone where I would say, hey, listen, take some profit. Take some profit. Why? We're getting into a space where every few candles we have a complete reversal. Complete reversal of motion. Now, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 downward 4-hour candlesticks, right? That's 20 hours of downside motion. And this is the first reflexive bounce. Began at 6 a.m. This undercurrent here tells me across the pond and into Asia, we've got weakness showing up. Where it is, I don't know. I suspect trade war events might be something to watch. But once more, we're taking a look at the fact that we're still inside of Friday's candlestick. And the Friday high of the second volume event is right here at 66.65. My thought is that's the line in the sand today. As long as we stay below that edge, we should have more selling. Getting above it, it's going to be tricky taking a long or a short because of all of these wicks. Here's what we see. Call wall and high volume node walls, 6,706. Ultimately, this is the sweet spot for the short. Coming back into this trend line break where we have heavy congestion and lots of inventory accumulation. That's the sweet spot. If it doesn't come, 6681 gives us that next ledge where we could see a wick higher and then a breakdown. And then, of course, this 6665. It is a Friday. Last Friday, I said, you know, most Fridays are bullish. Not so. Not so last Friday. So, kind of tough price action last Friday from that bullish perspective. Could we see another downward Friday event? Quite possibly. There's a lot of friction. Next week, we run into Martin Armstrong's choppy week of noise. We've got the panic cycle into the 27th. That's 10 days from now. But essentially a V-shaped bottom is what is being predicted there. So what are we going to do? We don't care about what anybody says about anything. We're going to look at the lines in the sand and we're going to say, hey, am I above them? Am I below them? What is trend and what is momentum? So we have negative trend, but it's shifting. We have a sideways series of moving averages underneath the 63, underneath the 20, and above the VWAP. The VWAP line is 66.23. Could the pullback into that area make for a nice long? Yes, but you're going to be quick or you're going to be dead, right? It's just the order of the day. The put wall for the month remains 6,400. The call wall for the month/week remains 6,800. The zero DTEs are moving all over the place, right? The put wall moved down, the zero DTE put wall moved down, and the call wall, I don't know, did it also move down? It might have moved down just a wee bit from that 6740 area. So they are shifting these walls lower in the midst of congestion. Very noisy price action, folks. Very, very noisy. But if you're looking for the trade, it is the big spike that gives you the short, the deep dip that gives you the long. Let's take a look at the NQ. Call wall, 25,000. That's the monthly call wall. Put wall, 23,750. Those are stable at this juncture. Zero DTE put wall, 24,700. I think that was the same put wall as yesterday. I can't remember, but it's pretty close. If it wasn't 24,700, it was 24,750. But we penetrated the put wall overnight. We're still inside of Friday's motion. We went all the way down to, this is a blind spot right here. It held the blind spot at 24,406. Almost a bottoming formation here. That's very, very interesting. But giving us the same range. We had higher highs, break down, and once again, we can see the collapse of shape from the formation by making lower highs after making a series of higher highs. That feels like an outlier. Let's do this one. Okay. In general, that's the one we're staring down. This seemed like a runaway wick. Gamma line 1, the number to watch today, 24,500. Notice they dropped 90 points below that just about. So you want to be careful if you're trying to buy the dip here in tech. But for our Benzinga crew, remember when we did that scanner and it showed everything making brand new highs, we can see the rotation, where they're moving in tech versus where they used to be in tech. And so the big movers in tech that are not making those brand new highs, they're going to drag down the index in general, but still sitting in a very important space for the NQs. Line in the sand, way below 24,150. Do we want to consider this anchored VWAP event at 24,230? Yes, that's pretty valid. What is my thought? My thought is that we bounce and get right back in here. We're in a wait state, but here's the thing. Here's what you want to look at for those of us that have a depth of market, or we have something like Bookmap, or we have the marvelous motive wave that gives us the order book right on top of our charts in big trades, the big trades formation. If we keep seeing these very large selling pockets, we're going to bounce and then fade. And, of course, you know my suspicion is that that is what is coming. We have just a dribble, and then a move back up to the top. The market is just de-risking a little bit. Here's another reason I think we are de-risking. See what's going on with Bitcoin, right? This is the Z contract, the December contract for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is in a pretty solid fade, right? Now, where's it going? Well, the put wall and the 0DTE put wall. Take a look at that. Oh, they're all sitting in the same space because of the size of the contracts. Okay, 100,000 on the low end, 125,000 on the high end. Traders are looking pretty good here if they sold the calls and sold the puts. But this downward motion is a de-risking event. It is absolutely taking free money out of the market. So this is a liquidation space that, to me, is sounding a small alarm that says, hey, we got ourselves a little bit of a fade action on the horizon, right? My thought, you know what, I would love to see Bitcoin come into 78,000. I'll buy it again, right? But this de-risking tells me, hang on, folks, bounces, still sell zones. If Bitcoin can get inside, let's see, let's put an alert here. Let's Bitcoin get us back over the anchored VWAP of yesterday. That's 110. I don't want it so big, but I do want all of them. Right? If it breaks above that zone, we're still in choppy action. Stays below it, we're in liquidation. And then I'm going to put an alert right on this line. Right? All of them. We'll see what gives. All right. Let's take a look at gold. Gold is on a rocket ship to the moon. Look at how beautifully it hit our Fibonacci, though. This is yesterday's. I didn't draw this yesterday. I drew it a while back. But it was a big range break on heavy volume. I felt it was a wave that was worth running. It went right to 43.88 and has just sold off pretty dramatically. Now, look at how bullish this is, right? But this is toppy. This is very frothy, and once again, I forget, what number did he say that was? 44.38, 42.46. That's going to be the support ledge for us. 42.46. 42.20 is the put wall. What do they want us to do? They want us to get back inside of the call wall. Where's that call wall? 4,300. Oh my gosh, I miss the short of a lifetime here. Crudsickles. I knew it was rotating this morning when I saw it. Daggone it. Well, that's a great thing about the market. Always something fun. But if you did take this short, you better trim the sails, 4,300, right? It's just an important thing to do because traders that are very bullish are going to try and keep it above the call wall. That being said, as you know, it is my belief that this is a monster short squeeze because a lot of people are going, okay, that's enough. Okay, that's enough. Okay, that's enough. And they're shorting the top and having to run through it. That's why every dip has been a buy zone. Now, you might go, Anne-Marie, then why have you been shorting it for 3 days? Because I believe we've got ourselves a topping event in progress. That being said, the trend is buy the dip. It is buy the dip, but there's a flush coming. Clear as day. You can see it on the horizon. And I think it rotates right back down through these Fibonacci levels because these Fibonaccis have held so well. This has been a beautiful Fibonacci event. And so, you know what, to distract, let's remove all of the horizontal lines. And we can just see the fib. I'll make the fib just a little bit lighter. So that we can see what we're tracking, right? Through the call wall, possibly all the way down to the put wall, but there's going to be a reflexive bounce because these shorts are going to have to cover. They've been short all the way up. Now when they get a little bit, they're going to take some profit. Taking of the profit creates a buying event. It's going to bounce, hopefully into a lower high and take us back down through the formation. Okay? They moved, look at this opening candle formation. In the first 4 hours of trading, it moved from 42.93 to 43.88, almost $100 in a big fat spike. And it was both bullish and bearish. It was bright white for my upside or blue for the downside, but we know why they're dancing around here. So it's coming in for a rock fight, okay? What do I like? Let it stabilize, watch the buyers come in. I'm going to try and sell the regions up here at 43.50. That's where I think this chart ought to rotate, but 44.50 is that Martin Armstrong level. Okay, let's go to SPY. Oh, you know what? Let's look at silver. All right, Z contract for silver. Wow, they moved that wall up. It was 50. They moved the wall up dramatically. Wow, traders on the back foot again. So look what they did with the put wall. The 0 DTE put wall, they also moved it up $52.25, and they're underneath the put wall. Gamma line 1, old resistance, new support. Watch for a rock fight here at 51.80 to 51.60. That's going to give it rotation. Notice the moving average. Dips or buys here. It's going to be a very ugly toppy formation if the chart is rotating over, but it should rotate, right? The next gamma line, you can see old resistance, new support. That's $51.20. The deep put wall on the monthly is $47. They moved the call wall up, but they moved the put wall up also, and now they're getting hurt by it. So watch, these moves are going to be savage if they unwind. I don't think they're ready to unwind just yet, but I have not checked the European currency news. I have to do that first, and that's going to give me a bigger clue. But you see the call walls there. Stay frosty, right? And watch for tight morning trend to tell you what's going on. Lastly, let's take a look at SPY. What do we see? Call wall 670, put wall 650. All right, the put wall, as well as broad put support, is now sitting together at 650. We had a candlestick that gapped down and then completely filled back inside of the value area low line, and that's 654, maybe? Let's call that 654. That's going to be that line in the sand. It's also a gamma line, pushing us up into another high volume node. You can see it here on the VWAP. That's $663. What should this price action tell us? It's sideways, but notice if we do two lines, we're still inside of Friday, right? But if we draw these two wicks here, let me see if I can extend this. Probably not. It won't just let me go here. That's the thing about these things, they anchor. All right, there we go. So now it's put us inside of this pocket. What do I think? If there are shorts trying to unwind, they're going to push us up into the call wall, into the VWAP. That's 663.45. The same trade exists to me. Spikes, selling formations. Best spike action is going to be 665 all the way to 668. I still think that would be a short. Deep dips, if they come into the put wall, they're going to fight there. But having failed this area, I suspect that the put wall gets blown and they either come into the low of Friday of last week or actually break it. That'll be the next test, as it were. And we are in the middle of a garden variety pullback. All right, everyone, that's it for me. Stay frosty. We've got a lot of decision making, a lot of people moving sideways in the market. Nobody is anchoring a position that says, yup, here we go. And if I had to choose somebody doing that, I would say it's the sellers that are saying, yep, here we go. But buyers have normally won this over the last 5 years, right? Except for the one pocket in 2022, buyers win this game. Let's see if it's another fade event that gives us selling, but organized selling. And this is really, I'm seeing a bit of organized selling. It's fierce, but it's still organized. All right, everybody, take care.